The boat project of Noah. Let's pick parts of the story of Noah from after God commanded him to build an ark. God commanded Noah to build a boat and to make it strong and firm, and to carry therein every kind of two creatures, animals, a male and a female of every species of animals, plants and fruits. He was also to carry his family along. That was the instruction, that was the assignment, and that was the calling, the goal. Let's look at the boat itself. The boat was more like a coffin than a proper ship. No decorations, no swagger, nothing fancy. Forget about aesthetics. It was not a work of art, but this giant box just had to float somehow. Noah also needed to build it with partitions and dividers, stables and stalls, cages and pens, boxes and booths, and so on, so the animals don't all eat each other. At length, the cages were ready and the animals loaded onto the floating zoo. Noah went ahead and collected a pair of every animal that was around him, found on the land around him as at that time. There were huge cats, the lions, the tigers, the cougars, the cheetah, golden yellow or spotted or plain black, who roars hideously even at Noah. The cages were filled with enormous monkeys, frightful beasts with black fur, then ivory-bearing beasts, the elephants and the mammoths, the ostrich and countless types of fancy birds, lethargic lizards, super crocodiles with teeth sharp as razor, and all manners of gazelles with scavenger dogs, pandas and penguins, kangaroos and giraffes, lemurs and camels. Included in the collection also were the hippos and the rhinos, oversized, clumsy, and strange-looking creatures. The rhinoceros is a spectacular animal. While a regular wild ox has two horns on either side of its head, this one has only one tusk on its nose. Then the walrus with long protruding teeth. We got a zoo of monstrous creatures with ivories, with horns, antlers, and tusks. The types a child will see in the dream and scream to wake the neighbors. These are wondrous and propendous but scary designer products. Yet, Noah had to live with them in the boat. Then, there were a couple of dozen of already frightened goats for the predators. How did Noah arrange the things in the boat? If you were Noah, you will really know how to arrange things. Because Noah had to put the big animals on the bottom with the little animals on top and the medium animals in between. If you put the little things in with the big things, then the big things will eat the little things and the medium things won't know how to act and they will get confused. Remember that Noah was well organized. He knew that he shouldn't keep the zebras with the lions, and he knew that he shouldn't keep the gazelles with the tigers. He knew not to keep the goats with the wolves. In life, there's a superior knowledge of how things work. Success doesn't work with laziness. Progress doesn't work with ignorance. And blessings don't work with indiscipline. If you are not well organized, the elephants will crush the rodents underfoot. So what happened when the rain started? The overwhelming downpour from the dark sky added to the petrifying gush of watercourses on the earth. The raging rivers overflowed into the lakes. The lagoons merged with the oceans. The muddy and salty waters surfed into waves of destruction and death. There were no more birds in the air, and the fishes in the seas were drowning. Big trees were thrown and spun in whirlpools like matchsticks flushed down a toilet. This was a deluge. It forced Noah to stay in the long, endless darkness of the ark. Noah had to stay in the darkness of the ark amidst the stench of cats' vomits. The ark was soaked wet with animals' wheeze and poos. The dung spread everywhere, stinking urines of wild beasts, smells of elephants' loud farts. Hyenas were stealing the decomposing remains of antelopes that the lions left over. Tigers snatching the cheetah's food. Rude monkeys screaming, wild chimpanzees fighting, poisonous snakes sinking their fangs in helpless and innocent rabbits, scorpions stinging things they won't eat, only to leave them crawling in excruciating pains that will kill them slowly. Animals in captivity. Their natures have been distorted. There was no more difference between the wild and the domesticated. All became opportunists, the strong eating the weak, the fit beating the sick, the big cheating the small, animals oppressing animals, animals eating animals, animals enslaving animals, animals raping animals. The difference became slim between the stubborn, wicked, and dangerous humans that refused to enter the ark with him and the animals he had to live with. What can we learn from this? Some of those you've kept in your boat could be potential predators. They can eat you up. Yes, they can eat you up. Because some of the animals were looking at Noah hideously. Some were sizing him up dangerously. Some of the snakes with cheeks full of venom were hissing at him treacherously. Even the monkeys were already keeping malice. They looked like they were planning a mutiny. Among the animals were those in semi-dormant state, a kind of hibernation. They won't harm you, yet they won't actively contribute anything to solve your problem. Let's just say they are in your life to mark the register, as in when your problems are finally over. They are the ones to say, I was there when so and so person was hustling and still struggling with life. Now that he has become successful, he doesn't share it all with me, even though I was there. But amongst the animals were those who were pretending to be what they weren't. Some snakes pretended to be worms. Wolves were pretending to be sheep. There were also those who had totally forgotten who they really were. Some worms were even seen crawling towards a plate of spaghetti. A crocodile thought it was a lizard. A zebra mistook its stripes for those of tigers. They were in utter confusion and delirium. A bird with the sense of a butterfly, an elephant with the brain of an ant. Their perceptions have been altered. They've lost their mental health. Their primal instincts have been tampered with. Noah couldn't get off the boat. He couldn't control the boat, and he couldn't stop the boat. Despite that, outside the boat, the rains wouldn't stop falling. The dark clouds swallowed the sun whole. Every other thing was in motion. It was only time that stood still. There was no difference between day and night. The earth was depressed. It was dark. It was cold and lonely. The boat was not going to any possibly known destination, so there was no expectation of an arrival. Does this not resemble the story of your life? If you are going through a flood and you are overwhelmed by the waters, remember, there's a Noah in you. There is a Noah in you. When you are going through struggles, the flaws in you become more apparent. Then you tend to feel helpless. You feel imperfect. You feel humbled. You feel human. Sometimes, perplexity keeps the solutions hidden from you by many layers of complexity. The story of your life could be fraught with hard to interpret passages, mysterious signs, puzzling parables, and cryptic metaphors. Everything you touch seems to have thorns on them. These dark periods are painful. Your heart hurts. The pains are excruciating. This has been your own personal journey. A journey that nobody can undertake for you. A journey towards your own soul. But you need to grapple with a new paradigm, a mature new way of looking at things. The Noah's metaphor is not that of destruction, but that of renewal, that of revival, restoration, and rebirth. It is that of knowing those around you and understanding what they are capable of influencing in your life, good or bad. Now that you have learned your lessons about Noah in you and what your relationships can lead you into, good or bad, I want you to understand that the darkness will end someday. The storms will be over. The rains will subside. The ark will birth. What is happening cannot change what is written. Your Noah will see the light again. There's a new life after the deluge. Hang on. Please hang on. Your sun shall soon shine again. After this darkness, there is light. Thank you.